A contamination risk can be identified when there is a possibility of infectious agents being transmitted within the workplace during procedures such as skin penetration in body piercing. Risk management is a key part of all procedures taking place in a piercing studio. When performing any skin penetration procedures, risk management must be taken into consideration, identifying if there is a risk, its source, how it can be managed, and how likely the event of an accident is to occur, and if it can be prevented entirely. The purpose of personal protective equipment is to form a barrier between the piercer and microorganisms that could potentially be transmitted through blood, bodily fluids, or other infectious agents within the clinic. PPE is designed to be disposed of via a designated contaminated waste bin after every use to avoid cross-contamination. PPE allows the piercer to maintain infection control within the skin penetration procedure. Before the use of any PPE, the piercer must first thoroughly wash their hands. PPE should be used in any of these example situations: when handling sterilized items, when handling contaminated items, when disinfecting contaminated surfaces, when handling waste materials, or when cleaning up spills or blood. It is necessary to use appropriate PPE whenever there is a risk of contamination or if there is a safety risk to the wearer. Tools, equipment, and instruments that directly penetrate tissue and mucous membranes must be single-use and disposable. Needles and sharps must be disposed of correctly via a sharps disposal unit. Reusable equipment must follow strict disinfection procedures and must be completely sterilised following the skin penetration procedure to comply with Australian Health Guidelines standards and regulations. All instruments used in the skin penetration procedure that have been contaminated with blood, bodily fluids, mucosa, or tissue must either be disposed of if single-use or disinfected and re-sterilised. A contaminated instrument must not be used again until it has gone through the entire process of sterilisation and is safe to reuse. This removes any chance of cross-contamination and transmission of infectious agents and microorganisms. While it is quintessential that the procedure environment is immaculately disinfected, it is just as important that the skin of the piercing site is equally as prepared. By preparing the client's skin, the risk of disease transmission and contamination is avoided. For example, this can be achieved by the use of an alcohol wipe. Single-use waste items must be carefully placed in the correct receptacle. Sharps must be disposed of via a designated sharps containment unit. Any potentially contaminated items must be put into a designated contaminated waste bin. Following a piercing, any potentially contaminated item must be safely removed, disposed of, or disinfected and re-sterilised. It is essential that all staff working in the piercing studio follow the same organisational policy and procedures to ensure consistency within the workplace and safety in all procedures. All reusable piercing equipment must be cleaned and disinfected via a chemical soak, followed by sterilisation in the autoclave. Most equipment can be sterilised in a universal cycle, but some materials like gold require a gentle cycle.
Bye.